Hi guys, and welcome to another video from U-Wrench. In this video we're going to be showing you how to use one of these disc type spark plug gap tools to ensure that you have the correct gap in your spark plug ready to be fitted. So a couple of things to point out very quickly with spark plugs. The gap that you're trying to set is between the little arm and the centre pin, just in there, and you need to find out what the correct gap is for your application, for the make and model of the car that you're fitting it for. It's not necessarily always the same. Some spark plugs will come pre-gapped at the correct spec for your particular vehicle. Others won't, because they'll be designed to be fitted into multiple vehicles. And either way, you should always double check it anyway, just to make sure that it is to the correct specification. You also buy certain types of spark plugs you'll find will have more than one arm. So you'll get spark plugs that might have 3 or even 4 arms on the top. And they usually do not need to be gapped. It's usually only these single arm types that need to be gapped, and they usually say on those multiple arms that they do not require gapping. But it's not a difficult thing to do. But what you will need to get is one of these little disc tools. You can buy these really cheaply on eBay and Amazon. I mean, these are like $2, $3, something like that, including shipping. Really cheap, but this will allow you to get your spark plugs absolutely spot on. So the way that this works, as we can see, it says inches on the front here, and around the outside we have denominations of inch gaps. And you'll notice if I turn this to the side, this gap starts out very thin here, and as we come round, obviously this starts to get thicker and thicker and thicker, and this corresponds to the size of the gap. Now also, the other thing to mention is on the front here, you've got this hole at the top, right up here, and just underneath that it says gap opener. Now you use that if your gap is too small. So if you try and set the gap and you measure it and your gap is too small, it won't go around far enough to where you need to get it. What you can do is actually use that as a leverage tool. Just place that in there and just lift that, and that will actually, you need to do it a tiny bit, remember, you need to bend that arm just a tiny fraction, so you can use that to do that if it's required. Also, if we flip it over, we've also got the measurements on millimeters on the rear as well. So you've got both that can be used with this same tool. So for my particular application today, I need to gap my spark plugs to 0.044. So if we look at the scale on here, I can see that we've got 0.040, so I need to be higher than that, and then the next one is 0.050. So we know halfway between those two, on that little centre mark just there, is going to be 0.045. So I want to be one under that. So that little mark there, one back from that little central mark, is 0.044. So that's what I want to be aiming for, that little mark right there on the tip of my thumb right there when I gap my spark plug. So remembering I'm aiming for 0.044, you put it in at this thinnest point on the end and you just slide it round. And as we can see, I can't get, it looks like these have been pre-gapped to 0.040, so I actually need to open mine up a tiny little bit, so I've still got to come round to that point just there. So I need to use the gap opener that I mentioned previously, and just give it a tiny little touch and then try it again. Obviously I've opened it too much there. I'm now at 0.051 approximately. So to bend it back, all you do is you take the back of the plate and just press it firmly on the top of the arm. Again, I'm not trying to bend it too much. And then do it again. Yeah, so I've taken a little bit off of it, not quite enough. So do that again. And what you want to do is just keep repeating that process. Yeah, I'm still not there yet. Keep repeating that process until we get it so that it will slide exactly where we want it. There we go, perfect. So I've now gapped that to 0.044, which is correct for my application. I'm working on a V6 car today, So obviously I'm going to have 6 spark plugs to do. Like I said, sometimes they will come pre-gapped, but even if they do, it's always worth double checking. And this is such a cheap tool, this will quickly become an indispensable part of your toolbox. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We really do appreciate it. If you'd like to support us in return, please hit the thumbs up, the like button, and also if you could hit subscribe, it would be much appreciated. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again.